Today I'm gonna try and teach you 3 ways to draw a pose. Now there are different ways to draw poses. Everyone has their own style and how they begin and how they like to do it. These 3 ways are easier ways to do it, maybe in a more beginner way. So for those who are already, know how to draw bodies and know how to draw poses, this video perhaps is not for you, but this is for those who may have, some struggles with doing a pose. So I'm gonna try and teach you the 3 ways. And the first one is a very simple one. It's based on the stick figure. So if you can draw, these are the usual stick figures that people do. For this pose teaching, I'm gonna try and show you how to draw this kind of stick figure. A stick figure that has a little bit more joints, you could say. So here you have the shoulders, and here's the elbows, here's the hip. So that's all you really have to do, is to learn how to draw this. Not this one, but this one. Okay? So if you can do a stick figure that is this, we'll be fine. So let's do a new layer above this and remove the stick figures there. But now you know what kind of stick figure I'm after. The pose that I'm gonna draw in all of these 3 ways is a character standing with his hand out, perhaps is about to make a fireball or maybe do some magic against someone else. And is perhaps a little bit more evil character, I don't know. But the hand is front towards the camera, but a little bit to the side, and the character itself is standing a little bit to the side. So I'm gonna do this with a stick figure because that's practically what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna have the head, and I'm gonna do the lines here just to show you where the face is. So the face is not straight ahead, but a little bit to the side, and then we're gonna do the body, and the body is simply a line like this. Now, like I said, I want the hand, so I'm gonna do just a circle. The hand is gonna be, towards the camera, like this, and we're gonna have the shoulders like this, and we're gonna have the hand kind of like this, and we can do the fingers like this. I'm gonna do 4 fingers like this, and we're gonna have the hips perhaps somewhere here, and I'm gonna do just this like that. So this is the stick figure. It doesn't look like much, does it? But that's the whole point, because I'm gonna do a new layer on top of this, and I'm actually gonna do, that's gonna keep the black, because from this you can already see, if I do, here's the eyes and here's the mouth, you can already see that you can build from this, because we have every block that we need. So for instance, we can have the body just like this. I'm just doing lines here, and I can build on top of this. Now of course the rest is gonna require some practice and all that, but just for a pose you can already see that we're getting results from our stick figure, and I'm just adding on top of the stick figure. Now of course you can use reference and everything like that, but if you just want to see if you can draw it without using reference, a stick figure is very easily, because you have the skeleton like this. You can see you already have every joint and everything that you need in very small detail. So when you do it, it makes, it doesn't take long. You can already see if it's like, yeah, it kind of works. and then you can build upon this, and even more than this, you can take it to the next step where you start to refine and really try to build the character and stuff like that. Maybe put on the anatomy and the muscles and everything like that to really build it out. But that's the easiest way to just draw a stick figure, because everyone says I can't draw, I can't do this, I can't do that. And as I always say this, I say this to my students, and I say that to people in general that asks me, I can't draw, I wish I could draw like you. And I say, well, can you throw paint on a paper, and can you draw a stick figure? Because if you can do either, you can paint and you can draw. There's no excuse anymore, because you have already shown me that you can draw a stick figure, which is pretty much the basic of the body and colors and stuff like that. I mean, I see a lot of artists that just throw paint on a canvas, and it's art. So there's no excuses, people. There's no excuses. So that's the first one. Very simple, and I know, like I said, this is just to show you simple ways, and of course with every way there has to be practice. You have to practice, you have to learn how to do things and stuff like that, and try to mix them perhaps, or something like that. There's always different ways. So let's go with pose number 2. Now pose number 2, we're gonna do the same pose, but we're gonna do it in a different way. And this way is usually a mix from what I usually do, but we're gonna do it even more simple. So for this, we're gonna do the same pose, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do parts. We're not gonna do the whole body, we're not gonna do a structure, we're gonna do the important parts first, and then build the structure afterwards. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna do the head, and I'm gonna show that, okay, here's the head, and I can do the shapes a little bit more detailed, just so I know that, okay, this is the head, and I know that's the head, because that's one of the important parts, because I want people to look in the character's face and see, does he have ill intent, or is he evil, or is he just the good guy, or what? And the second part of this is doing the hand that is coming towards the camera. So we're gonna do the hand, and as you can see, I'm still doing a little bit of simple shapes, but it's a little bit more detailed. As you can see, I'm trying really to just get a sort of real hand, but in simple shapes and sizes here. And I'm trying, yes, that looks okay, and something like that. Yes, there we go, something like that. So now I have the two most important parts to me, that is, it's kind of like this, that you have the thing going like this, so you can have the big hand first, and then you go back and you see the face. And I'm gonna go back and erase those arrows, and here we go again with the eyes and the mouth. So from here out, I build the rest, which is I'm building the let's see, I'm gonna go back to doing the chin a little bit. There we go. And then I'm gonna do the rest, and here I'm building, because now this takes a little bit more knowledge on your part, because you have to know how to do this, or how to do the body parts. But once again, I'm doing it in really simple shapes, because even for me, I'm not quite sure how I want this to look, but I'm doing this so in very simple shapes, and as you can see, I'm just building. So there we go. As you can see, it started with me just doing this shape. I'm gonna emphasize this so this shape so you can see where we started with. And that's a way I usually try to do it, but usually I do a little bit more than just do the first parts. I usually do a little bit more. So it's a mix. This is a very simplified version of how I do it. I try to like understand what is the most important part in the image. So as you can see, for me it's the face. The body is not the most important part, because the part that the viewer is gonna focus on is the hand and the face, to see if you like, what if the character is perhaps crying, maybe it's something he doesn't want to do but he has to do, or maybe he's like really evil and he's perhaps smiling, then it becomes a quite different story and stuff like that. And then the hand, of course, what is he doing with the hand? Maybe we already know that this character perhaps can do magic with his hand, or maybe he's about to touch someone's face, and we know when he touches the face they probably die or something. So the two parts that are most important is what is the character feeling, we see that in the face, and what his actions are, and that's the hand that's coming towards the camera. So this is how I usually do it, and then I build from that. What is the most important part in the image? And that's, you know, compared to composition and stuff like that. So that's the second part of how to do it. Try to do the two things that you need first, or three, or how many there are, but what is the most important part in the image, in the art? And that's, for me, is the head and the hand. So let's go to the third one, which is, of course, try to use reference. And in this case, if you really can't do without reference, then of course you can take a picture of yourself, like me in this very horrible selfie I took with my cell phone. And I'm gonna lower this so I just get this. And of course, I usually say this, try to learn with reference at first, but you have to let it go at some point. But of course, when it comes back to, oh, I don't know how to draw this, or I don't know how to get this to look right, of course, take a picture of yourself doing the same action, because you know exactly what you want. Or maybe it's an action that you can't do, well, find a reference on the internet, perhaps someone has taken a good image that you can work from. But in this case, the same thing goes here. I'm not gonna try and do, you know, exactly copy, but what I want is the pose. So I want this, and I'm still doing it in a simple shape, as you can see here. And I'm doing this now, and I'm gonna go with a very simplified, like this. And as you can see, I'm just doing a very simple, like this. I just want the shape. I don't want to copy this photo. What I want is the pose. And maybe I'm not the body size or the right, you know, the right gender for that. I could do this as a female as well, because the image itself is not important. The important thing is the pose, that I get the feeling of the pose. And as you can see, I'm going just, and I'm changing here the body size, because I am not a muscular guy perhaps, and stuff like that. And when I remove it, I have the pose, and then I can see, okay, I got it pretty good. And from this I can, you know, go and do and change what I want. I can change the gender, I can change the hairstyle and the body type and everything. But now I got the pose. That's the important part, because a lot of people, you know, forget that we can use ourselves as reference. We can use it and change it to what we want, because some people are, you know, camera shy and doesn't want to take a picture of themselves, and I understand that. I am the same way, or I used to be. And for that matter, maybe they don't feel like, oh, I'm not the shape or the size of this character, but that doesn't matter, because what matters is the pose. that you can get the pose that you want, because you know as the artist what the pose is and how it's supposed to look. And by, for me, I just took this with my cell phone. I pointed the camera at myself. I saw what it looked like and I put it on a timer, and then just, okay, pose, try to do what I want the character to do. I know I'm not the size or the right length or the body size, or no muscles and stuff like that. I'm just a fat bearded man. For me, it's just about getting the pose. It's about learning and like that. You can use a mirror. I know a lot of artists use mirrors and look for hands and stuff like that. If you have a hard time drawing hands or feet, take a picture of your feet in different poses and what you want, what you need, because that's the way you learn, and try to learn how to draw it, and then deconstructing it to this simple shapes. So you get simple shapes from a very advanced photo with shadows and everything like that. And the same goes if you want to learn shadows and stuff like that. Take a light and just in a dark room and try to illuminate your face and your hand or your body or whatever, and try to learn from it, because in reality no one has to see your reference photos. They only see the finished results. So if you're camera shy and don't want everyone to see, then it's fine, because you don't have to show it. It's just for you to learn how to do the pose and how to do the body and stuff like that. Of course, there's a lot of practice, what works and what doesn't work, but you have to try. Try, practice, try, practice. Fail, do right, fail, and do right. So, that's the video. 3 poses, 3 different ways to do it. We're gonna start from the start with the stick figure. The stick figure way, which is a very beginner way if you don't know the body at all. And then you have the start with the most important part and work from that. And then you have the reference photo. Use a reference photo or something to guide you on the way to get the pose. Maybe it's an object or a character or whatever. Maybe you need that first training of this. But this also has a warning. Don't get stuck using photos. Because I know a lot of artists that get stuck using photos and they lose the dynamic image quality, and they lose how to do something on their own, and they get stuck, they just have to use reference photos. They can't do anything by themselves, and that's bad in a sense. So try to learn how to do it and then move on. So there you go, 3 ways to draw a pose. Now these are very generic ways, but as always, if you're interested in a specific pose, there's so many of them, I can't cover them all, but this is a way to get closer to what you want to do. The reference, try the stick figure, because you as the artist know what you're after. So try to build it from either stick figures, try to do the most important parts, or use a reference photo and then practice, and then you're gonna get it. And then you can do it on your own, and then you get, okay, so this works like this, and then you have to practice it. Because that's the key in everything. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to support me, please check out my Patreon site, patreon.com/Ebbe. You can find all sketches, full art, even not safe for work art in high resolution, and it's only $1 or $5. Please help me support to make more videos and more content for you. Thank you!